Well, we have our last teller, Eduardo Placer, who's in Coconuts right now at OSF. He's an entrepreneur, an actor, a community activist, a Spanish soccer fan.
Still wearing the colors.
Still wearing the colors, though they lost. So big hand for Eduardo.
Tick, tock, tick, tock. All our eyes are on the clock. 2 plus 0 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Tick, tock, tick, tock. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. We put all of our stuff away and line up and get ready to go outside for recess. Kindergarten, 1982, Miami, Florida, Pinewood Acres Elementary School. The battle of the kissing girls has been raging for 16 weeks. The boys take our lead off of Brett MacGyver. He's arresting, charismatic, blonde. And we make our way to the slides. The boys' turf. The girls are being led by Brooke Tinsley. She's pixie-ish, pigtailed, curly-haired, very fast. And the girls are making their way to the slides. Slides, and the girls are the swings. Capulets, Montagues, Hatfields, McCoys, Jets, Sharks. But this 85-degree, 100% humidity Miami afternoon was not going to be like any other 85-degree, 100% humidity Miami afternoon. This day, Brett MacGyver did the unthinkable. He stepped into no man's land and started crossing to Brooke Tinsley and the kissing girls on the swings. The playground came to an absolute standstill. Brooke took the bait and similarly stepped into no man's land. And step by step, like a cowboy western, like High Noon, approached each other until they were directly in front of each other, facing each other. Then, Brett MacGyver did the unthinkable. He kissed Brooke Tinsley. What? It's kindergarten. A boy kiss a girl? It's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. I mean, I had no idea what that meant. And then it dawned on me, it could only mean one thing. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, Brooke and Brett are getting married! And at that point, I can only describe as what the next 15 minutes looked like as a mega musical theater production. In that moment, it seemed like the girls on the swings were alternating in perfect rhythm, jumped off and stuck their landing in a dismount. On the seesaws, the kids were going on opposite sides, did triple flips and landed like Cirque du Soleil. I started singing a song, Brooke and Brett are getting married, Brooke and Brett are getting married, Brooke and Brett are getting married. We had a parade that went all throughout the playground. I went to the shrubbery and there were kids playing and I said, Brooke and Brett are getting married! And then we started dancing and holding hands and twirling and singing. And there was so much joy and laughter and choreography. Oh, was there choreography? And then, bzz, 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 it was over. And all the kids stopped and made their way back into class. And I was left alone on that field. And I said, what brave new world has such expression in't? What was this portal? What was this heaven, this nirvana that I had fallen into? And as I made my way back to that kindergarten elementary class, I made a pledge to myself to find my way back. And I have spent the next 32 years of my life trying to find Brigadoon again, right? Now, I do have the privilege of being an actor, right? But that's not the same, right? Those are the rules, right? We're in a room, we're on a stage, it's the theater, we sing, we dance, that's it, that's what happens, right? Also, like privately, when I'm in an elevator, sometimes I'll start singing Miss Saigon tunes at the top of my lungs. You know, in the privacy of my home, I'll do 80s lyrical interpretive jazz to obscure Shirley Bassey tunes, right? But that's not the same thing because that's private, right? What was so magical about that first time was that moment of imaginative, innocent improvisation that we just all synced together. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a flash mob. Nobody said we were going to do this. We're all going to meet at 11:30 in the morning and sing Brett and Brooke are getting married. It just happened. And it was magical. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I have found that there have been certain moments in my life that have had glimpses of that initial magic. Now, if you have any desire for spontaneous harmony, then you'll do what I did when I went to college, which is join an a cappella group, right? So that's what we did. I was in a group of, we were the United Nations of a cappella groups, right? And we were in New Orleans on a spring break trip. And we found ourselves walking, and the group was very, very eclectic. It was me, a homosexual Cuban, a homosexual Puerto Rican, we had a 5'2" Hawaiian, we had a South Asian guy, we had this conservative Jewish guy with a Washington Redskins yarmulke, right? Sure. And we found ourselves on these, what felt like abandoned train tracks in New Orleans, and all of a sudden, as we were walking down, just for ourselves, somebody started do 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 do. Then someone joined in. Do 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 do. Then someone in. Do 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 do. Then it'd be something down on the corner. And we just had this whole moment on the train tracks for nobody else, but just for us. And I was like, wow, that was crazy. But we knew the harmonies, right? So it didn't have that same effect as that first one. Beggars can't be choosers, right? So then, a couple of months ago, I have an identical twin brother who's a whitewater rafting guide and has his own stand-up paddle business on the Colorado River. So it's like city twin and country twin. I'm the twin that exercises and moisturizes. And he has a daughter. He has a daughter who's 9 years old. And they were watching The Music Man. And my brother called me immediately because I had just finished seeing the Marian librarian scene. What can I say, my dear, to catch your ear, I love you madly, madly, madam librarian, Marian. And the whole library erupts into this crazy choreographical routine. And my niece looks up at my brother and she says, Daddy, I just want to live in that world. And I said, she's mine. Now, funnily enough, the moment that came closest to that kindergarten moment happened to be in kindergarten. Again, a couple weeks later. God, I'm not doing really well at the timeline here, right? Lots of longing here. And the movie Annie had just come out. And the music teacher started playing the song Tomorrow. And all of a sudden she started pointing at people to have them join in. And then she pointed at me. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, oh, join in, the sun'll come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, harmony, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you're only a day, big finish, So we kind of just did it. That was pretty crazy. Now, I'm thinking about my niece, right? And I think about musical theater, right? Because in musical theater, there are these spontaneous moments of music, of song, and choreography, right? But the songs end. Everyone goes back to their daily routine. You know, you do the big production number, you hit the pose, and then you move on, right? We're not saying that life should be opera, which is through song, and that's insane, right? But there are those moments, and we all have those moments where we give ourselves permission to break out into song. Sometimes it's at weddings, right? Everyone sings New York, New York, and we all do our little kick lines, and that's okay, right? But what is the ticket to the portal? Right? What is the ticket to the portal that gives you permission to play in that world? Where do we give ourselves permission to enter? What is the key to get there? Right? And I think of a dear friend of mine, two dear friends of mine at the Shakespeare Festival. They have a daughter who's 3, and her name is Miranda. And she was leaving, I was leaving one of the shows, and I saw them leaving the Tudor Guild gift shop. And she was walking with what looked like this giant baton, this pole with like fabric on it. And it seemed like they were having a little mini parade. Just the 3 of them. And I climbed in behind, and I started singing, 76 strong parade, and 110 cornets right behind. And then we had a parade. Just the 4 of us on the bricks of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And as far as Miranda, the 3-year-old, is concerned, that could have been the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, right? But she was leading it. And you could see the rise that she had in her body as she held the baton, and she was just marching. And that spirit of play that her parents and myself had as adults, right? Allowing her that space, and the space they allowed themselves to enter into that world. So what do you need? Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. I look forward to seeing you there.
Let's have a big hand for all of our brave storytellers.